Hello everyone, how are you? I hope so, because today I have an amazing story to tell. A story that will make you think about life, about suffering, about faith and about God. A story that many of you may have heard of, but may not know all the details. A story that I lived in my skin and that forever changed my way of seeing the world. I am Job, and this is my untold story revealed. But first, I would like to ask you to subscribe to our channel if you are not already subscribed. Like this video and activate the notification bell because this way you will be notified whenever a new video is live. And this helps us a lot to keep our channel active so that more people are recommended and blessed with the words we bring to you in the form of a video. So, let's go. Have you ever wondered what my name means, Job? I know a lot of people are curious about this as my name is not very common. I've also wondered about this because my name seems to have a sad and negative meaning. But I've found that my name also has a positive and hopeful side. I'll tell you how I learned this and how my name reflects my story. My name comes from the Hebrew Iyov, which can have several meanings. Some say that my name means harassed or persecuted, for I have been the subject of many trials and afflictions in my life. Others say that my name means one who turns to God, because I have never stopped trusting and worshiping God, even in the worst situations. Still others say that my name means one who endures, for I never gave up seeking justice and truth, even when all seemed lost. I think all of these meanings make sense, as they show different aspects of my personality and my experience. I was harassed and persecuted, both by Satan, who wanted to destroy me, and by my friends, who accused me unjustly. But I also turned to God and recognized His sovereignty and His goodness, even when He seemed to be silent. And I, too, persisted in my faith and integrity, and did not let myself be carried away by despair or revolt. I believe that my name was chosen by God and that it has a purpose for me. I believe that my name is not a curse, but a blessing. I believe that my name is not a disgrace, but a grace. I believe that my name is not a burden, but a privilege. I believe that my name is not a fluke, but a calling. I am Job, and that is the meaning of my name, a name that reminds me of where I came from, where I am, and where I'm going, a name that reminds me of who I am, who I was, and who I will be, a name that reminds me of who God is, who He was, and who He will be, a name that reminds me that I am just a man, but that He is God. I was a very rich and happy man. I had a large family with 7 sons and 3 daughters and a wonderful wife. I also had many possessions, such as sheep, camels, oxen, and donkeys. I was the richest man in the whole East. But I wasn't just rich in money. I was rich in character, in goodness, in justice. I feared God and shunned evil. I was known to be blameless and honest. I helped the poor, the orphans, the widows, the foreigners. I didn't accept the corruption, the violence, the oppression. I was an example to all who knew me. But not everything was perfect in my life. There was an enemy who hated me and wanted to destroy me. That enemy was Satan, the accuser, the adversary, the deceiver. He couldn't bear to see my happiness and faithfulness to God. He thought I was righteous only because God favored and protected me. He thought that if God took away everything I had, I would curse Him and forsake Him. He was mistaken. One day, Satan came into God's presence and challenged Him to test me. He asked God to take away everything I had, to see if I would remain faithful to Him. God accepted the challenge, but He placed one condition. Satan could take away everything but my life. And that's how my tragedy began. In one day, I lost everything I had. A messenger came to tell me that the Sabeans had stolen my oxen and my asses and killed my servants. Another messenger came to tell me that lightning had fallen on my sheep and my shepherds and burned them all. Another messenger came to tell me that the Chaldeans had taken my camels and killed my servants. And at last, the worst of all the messengers came to tell me that a strong wind had struck my children's house, that they were having a feast, and that they had all died. I couldn't believe what was happening. I was devastated, desolate. I tore my garments, shaved my head, and fell to the ground. But I didn't lose my faith. I said, "Naked I came out of my mother's womb, and naked I will return. The Lord gave, and the Lord has taken away. Blessed be the name of the Lord." I recognized that everything I had came from God, and that He had the right to take me away. I didn't blame Him for my loss, nor did I curse Him. I kept my integrity and my trust in God. But Satan did not give up. He went again into the presence of God and asked to afflict my body, saying that I would deny God if I felt pain. God allowed Satan to touch me but not to kill me, and that's how I got covered in sores from head to toe. I felt a terrible pain that wouldn't leave me alone. I would sit in the middle of the ashes and scrape my wounds with a pottery shard. My appearance was so horrible that people didn't recognize me. Even my wife abandoned me. She told me to curse God and die. But I didn't. I told her that she was talking like a madwoman, and that we should accept evil as well as we accept good. I resisted the temptation to give up on life and God. That's when my friends came. They had heard of my misfortune and came to console me. There were 3 of them, Eliphaz, Bildad, and Zophar. They were so shocked by my state that they were silent for 7 days and 7 nights. They didn't know what to say. They thought I had done something too serious to deserve so much suffering. They thought God was punishing me for my sins. They didn't understand that my suffering was a trial, not a punishment. After 7 days, I couldn't take it anymore and started talking. I cursed the day I was born. I said I'd rather have died in my mother's womb, or right after I was born. I said that my life was a burden, an anguish, an affliction. I said I wanted to die, to end my suffering. I said I didn't see meaning in my existence, nor hope in my future. I said I wanted to talk to God, to ask Him why He was doing this to me. I said I wanted Him to answer me, to explain it to me, to justify it to me. That's when my friends started talking. They tried to convince me that I was wrong, that I was being arrogant, that I was being ungrateful. They said that God is just, that He does nothing for no reason, that He repays each one according to his works. They said that I must have done something very bad, that I must have sinned against God, that I must have been hypocritical and unjust. They said that I should confess my sins, that I should repent, that I should ask God for forgiveness. They said if I did that, God would restore me, bless me, heal me. But I didn't accept my friends' words. I knew they were wrong, that they didn't know what they were talking about, that they didn't really know me. I knew that I was innocent, that I had done nothing to deserve my suffering, that I had been faithful to God in everything. I knew that God was not chastening me, but testing me. I knew He had a higher purpose, one that I couldn't understand, but that I could trust. I knew that He was sovereign, that He did what He wanted, that He owed no satisfaction to anyone. I replied to my friends one by one. I refuted their arguments. I exposed their faults. I showed their contradictions. I said they were useless doctors, that they were miserable comforters, that they were false friends. I said they didn't understand me, that they didn't help me, that they only accused me. I said that they did not speak the truth about God, that they did not know His justice, that they did not respect His sovereignty. I continued to question God, to cry out to Him, to wait for Him. I wondered if my failures were related to my suffering, if I had any fault in the registry office, if I had missed any mistakes. I wondered if my suffering was deserved, if it was proportionate, if it was necessary. I wondered if there was a meaning, a motive, a goal. I wondered if God was listening to me, if He was seeing me, if He was caring. I also got angry with God, with my friends, with my situation. I got angry with God for treating me like this, for ignoring me, for humiliating me. I got angry with my friends for judging me, for offending me, for hurting me. I was angry at my situation because it was so unfair, so cruel, so unbearable. I didn't know if my irritation was a reflection of my own anguish or a righteous response to my friend's lack of empathy and God's seeming indifference. I also longed for a mediator, for an intercessor, for an advocate. I longed for someone who could represent me before God, who could defend me from his accusations, who could deliver me from his wrath. I longed for someone who could bring me closer to God, who could reconcile me to him, who could restore me to his fellowship. I longed for someone who could understand me, who could comfort me, who could heal me. I also expressed my faith, my hope, my confidence. I expressed my faith in God, in his goodness, in his faithfulness. I expressed my hope in a life beyond death, in a resurrection, in a reward. I expressed my trust in a Redeemer, in a Savior, in a Deliverer. I said that I knew that my Redeemer lives and that he would rise upon the earth at the end of time. I told him that I knew he would testify on my behalf and that he would testify to my integrity. I said that I knew that I would see him face to face and that I would be pleased with his likeness. It was then that God finally spoke to me. God spoke to me twice from within a storm. He asked me a lot of questions about creation, about nature, about animals. He showed me that he is the creator of everything, that he is in control of everything, that he knows everything. He showed me that I couldn't compare to him, that I couldn't understand his ways, that I couldn't question his plans. He showed me that he is God and that I am just a man. I was speechless before God. I felt small, humble, ignorant. I recognized that I had talked too much, that I had gone too far, that I had been foolish. I told God that I had nothing to answer, that I had nothing to say, that I had nothing to complain about. I told God that I would shut up, that I would repent, that I would submit. At the first meeting, God spoke to me about his wisdom and power in creation. He asked me if I was present when he created the world, if I knew how he did things, if I could do the same. He asked me if I could measure the earth, if I could count the stars, if I could order the sun. He asked me if I could control the sea, if I could calm the storm, if I could release the lightning. He asked me if I could take care of the animals, if I could feed the lions, if I could teach the eagles. He asked me if I could match his work, if I could challenge his authority, if I could override his will. I was in awe of God's greatness. I saw that he was incomparable, unfathomable, inscrutable. I saw that he was the Lord of all, the King of all, the Father of all. I saw that he was the Creator, the Sustainer, the Governor. I saw that he was the wise, the mighty, the sovereign. I saw that he was God, and that I was just a man. At the second meeting, God spoke to me about his dominion and his care for animals. He told me about the hippopotamus, the crocodile, and the leviathan. He spoke to me about his strength, his beauty, and his majesty. He told me about its origin, its food, and its dwelling. He told me about his relationship with man, with nature, and with himself. He told me that he created these animals, that he knows them, that he loves them. He told me that he owns them, that he is their protector, that he is their friend. I was amazed at God's goodness. I saw that he was loving, compassionate, merciful. I saw that he cared about the animals, that he provided for them, that he blessed them. I saw that he rejoiced in his creation, that he was involved in his work, that he revealed himself in his diversity. I saw that he was God and that I was just a man. After God spoke to me, I repented. I regretted that I had questioned God, that I had doubted God, that I had defied God. I regretted that I had been proud, that I had been impatient, that I had been rebellious. I regretted having spoken of what I didn't know, of judging what I didn't understand, of having criticized what I didn't see. I repented in dust and ashes, in tears and groans, in pain and shame. I told God that I despised myself, that I humbled myself, that I surrendered. I told God that I recognized his greatness, his justice, his holiness. I told God that I trusted in his goodness, in his grace, in his mercy. I told God that I loved him, that I adored him, that I served him. After I repented, God restored me. He restored me double, in abundance, in glory. He gave me 10 sons and 10 daughters, more beautiful than the previous ones. He gave me twice as many sheep, camels, oxen, and donkeys. He has given me a long life of 140 years, full of peace and joy. He gave me his blessing, his presence, his friendship. He also reprimanded my friends for speaking ill of him, for accusing me unjustly, for hurting me deeply. He said that they had erred, that they had sinned, that they had turned away from him. He said that they should ask me for forgiveness, that they should offer me sacrifices, that they should ask me to pray for them. He said that he would only accept their prayer if I interceded for them, if I forgave them, if I blessed them. I did what God asked of me. I've prayed for my friends. I've forgiven them. I've blessed them. I also received God's forgiveness, his grace, his favor. I saw that God had a plan for me, that he had a purpose for my suffering, that he had a reward for my faithfulness. I saw that God was just, that he was good, that he was faithful. I didn't need to know about the wager between God and Satan in order to have faith and trust in God. I didn't need to know the reason for my suffering in order to accept and worship God. I didn't need to know the result of my trial to resist and wait on God. I just needed to know that God is God and that I'm just a man. That was my story, folks. A story of pain, of faith, of restoration. A story that taught me a lot about God, about myself, about life. A story I wanted to share with you so you can learn too. A story that I hope has touched your heart, opened your mind, strengthened your soul. I am Job, and this was my untold story revealed. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to leave your like, subscribe to the channel, and activate the bell so you don't ask for any videos. And if you liked the video, comment below what you think and what other topics you would like to see here with us. And check out the first comment pinned, as we always put links and useful materials to help you on your spiritual journey. We'll stick around and see you next time.